Alrighty, so I'm going to do it a little bit different this week for the USA Truck Series. Instead of running the entirety of the sprint qualifier, I have accelerated through it and we have our results. The 7 drivers joining the main field tonight from the sprint qualifier will be the 24 of Kyler Sustre, the 80 of Richard Townsend, the 83 of Nate Gonzalez, the 46 of Craig Popcrass, the 96 of David Bird, the 64 of Jacob Shangle, and the 45 of Tashi Gupta. This will kind of expedite the process for the main event tonight. If you just hold tight here, we'll get it all set up and ready. We all know that Tim Kourting has locked his way into the championship finale here in the USA Trucks. And so now we're trying to figure out who are the other 3 drivers that are going to join him in the championship finale. Currently in the round of the ULTRA6. So making it through the sprint qualifier, we have Kyler Sustre, who has been on a tear. The 80 of Richard Townsend, who is also going to be a threat for future races in the series. Then we got the 83 of Nate Gonzalez that makes the field. .46 of Craig Popcrass. The 96 of David Bird. The 64 of Jacob Shangle. And the 45 of Tashi Gupta rounding out your final lineup here. Save. So it'll be a 150 lap main event here to try and figure out who else might join Tim Kourting in the finale next week in Charlotte. Tonight we're on the dirt here at Lakewood for the Strong Swimmer 150. Hopefully we don't have any drivers taking a swim here today.
Favor, just touch all your seatbelts, touch all your connections, touch your Hans. Just make sure you get everything like you want it. Favor, just touch all your seatbelts, touch all your connections.
And surprisingly enough, starting on the front row, we've got our, well, top contender, Tim Kourting, who's already locked into the next round, starting alongside Atley Wiese. Wiese had a rough go of it last race at Bermuda Superspeedway, so hopefully he can have a good turnaround here at Lakewood. Then our next 2 title contenders, we've got the 90 of Tom Kourting and the 10 of Jordan Walker. And our 5th of 6 title contenders, all starting in the top 5, we've got Chaz Chadwick right there with Kyler Sustre. The only other title contender not in the top 5 is Trevor Walker, who's only a couple rows back, it looks like. You got Richard Townsend and Chris Harvey, Trevor Walker and Andre Stefan, Ant Meeperson and Matthew Fastnot, Cash and the 16 of Jeffrey Gerald, the 4 of Bradley Ream and the 74 of Leighton Avyard, Gavin Gray and Monty Shangle, James Reddick and Tim Hansen, John Brinker and Al Bunch, Krista Cower and Zach Armstrong, Jack Ross and Brian DeBlank, Colton Smith and Craig Popcrass, Tashi Gupta and Paulo Ladino, Gavin Legend and Dave Steele, Adam Starr and Jacob Shangle. Adam Starr's team is going to switch over to Subaru next season, so keep lookout for that. Nate Gonzalez and Chris Hergeson, Luis Rodriguez and Jack Davis, Philip Leeds and David Bird. And then at the very back, you got Maggie Reams and Cannon Gage. 150 laps is the length here. This race will probably go about 2 hours in distance. We know that Tim Kourting's locked in, but we might see another driver win their way through to the next round. Might also see someone taking a swim before the end of the day here.
Alright, boys, coming at you. Let's make it a go, man. Let's have some fun. Kick some butt.
Double check, make sure our ticker readout's good. Everything looks good. Running smoothly on the dirt, as you can see. Stream process going all right. So green flag waves and we're off and rolling. Tim Kourting off to the early lead here. Last year's race at this track was a bit of a wreck fest. When the passover maneuver, as you got Atley Wiese crossing it back down below to try and make the pass back. Side by side going through turns 3 and 4. Oh, and he gives Tim Kourting a bit of a bump there. These two not giving an inch. And this is going to make that points battle very exciting. All the way to the end of this week. As you can see, Tim Kourting, Atley Wiese, Chaz, Chadwick, all these drivers need a good run today, but it's going to make it that much harder when the rest of their competition is also having a good run. Chaz Chadwick had to use just about every point of his buffer, and his regular season championship has proven not to be enough, as he is now on the bubble in 4th. Atley Wiese, in his dominant streak of winning as many races as he has in the playoffs, has a big enough buffer to still stay in the top 3 for now. Chadwick might need a win to get his way through. There's also the ultimatum out there on the board. If we somehow manage to get Tim Kourting and Tom Kourting, along with Trevor Walker and Jordan Walker, all in the final 4 positions, we will open it up to being the Omega 4 for the Truck Series. This will be exciting because it would be the battle of the brothers, and I think would be an extremely perfect way to cap off the season. But it's got to play out that way. It's got to happen organically. If it's Tim, Tom, and Trevor 1, 2, 3, and Jordan Walker finishes 6th in the points, it's only going to be the final 3. We won't make it a final 4 unless they finish in exactly 1, 2, 3, and 4th position. Which it could happen. The way it's running right now, Tom Kourting sits in 4th there. He needs to make up more points on Chadwick behind him there. But you don't even want to think about that, because you want to see even Chadwick work his way into the playoffs here. Or, you don't want to see Atley Wiese get knocked out. That's going to be a hard one to knock out of contention here. Atley Wiese should, in all means, make it to the final 3. this alternate scenario kind of makes it so that Atley Wiese is not involved in the final 3. So that's why we run the race, to figure it out and see how things shake up. In the meantime, Tim Kourting out front leading, doing what he must to preserve a stellar season here in 2023. Has come around at the end when it matters the most. Kind of took a different approach to the championship this year in comparison to last year. Last year he had the entire season set on kill, but smartened up from last season. He realized that it really comes down to these final 3 races, and hadn't gotten a win all season long up until last week when he won the race out there at the Bermuda Super Speedway. So Tim Kourting decided he's going to wait till it matters the most and strike it rich here in the playoffs. Currently at the pace we're running, this could be over within an hour and a half or less. I was more so equating for cautions to factor in for the 2-hour time gap that I had, but if this continues at this rate, we might have a quicker race here than expected. Exciting time of the year as we are closing in on the finals for the Trucks in the Bush Series, and we'll be crowning our first champion here in 2023. It's already been half a year. We've made it through half of 2023, and the fun's just getting started. We've got our second series starting this summer for the East-West Championship, new USA Trucks combined championship that's going to be interesting to watch. 82 seats are filled right now, and there's often a lot of wiggle room to allow for more people to come and go. The way we're going to work it is a lot of reserve drivers are going to have a shot to hop into an all-star ride week in, week out, depending on which series is running, whether it's the East or the West, and which teams have an open ride for someone. So mostly got a couple new people that joined the series. Right now, waiting in the wings to hop in a ride, and they'll have an opportunity with the new championship for the East-West Series, USA Trucks. So it looks like we might have had our first wreck in the race. The 78 of John Brinker gets hooked there by Jack Ross. Jack Ross last year won this race here at Lakewood. Doesn't look like he's going to have a good chance at winning it today. But that'll bring out our first caution here on lap 13. And we'll see how the leaders decide to handle pit stops here. Looks like just about everyone coming down pit road to make a pit stop. Top 5 on track still, our top 5 in the championship battle. Seems that Chris Harvey made up some spots on the pit stop there, getting himself up to 4th, so that's a pretty good deal for the number 2 truck. Philip leads should be a lap down if I'm not mistaken here. Right on the tail end of the lead lap, so he is not gonna inherit the lead here at all. Actually, he'll probably get shuffled back to the back once the lights turn off on the pace truck with the Better Cautions mod enabled. We're back and going here, and it looks like Atley Wiese is going to steal the lead away from Tim Kourting on the restart. And up to 3rd, it's Chris Harvey. Let's keep an eye on the number 2 truck and see where this is going. Even the newcomer, relatively new newcomer, Kyler Sustre into the top 5. Atley Wiese knows that his situation is going to become much easier if he gets the win here today. Out front leading, the only place you want to be when you're fighting for this championship in the USA Truck Series. Not quite on the ropes, but definitely fighting from behind. Atley's, for the first time in a long time, fighting from behind here in the trucks, but right where he needs to be in the lead at the moment. Jordan Walker up to 5th. Trevor Walker up to 6th. Man, Chadwick just is not going to be able to make up a whole lot of points here today. His biggest nemesis would be the 21 truck of Trevor Walker right now. He needs to make sure to outpoint Trevor Walker by 27 points. That's a large task to achieve, especially when winning the race is worth 50 points and last place is worth 1 point. So Chadwick's hoping that his one bad race last week is not the kiss of death for the championship finale here. Tim Kourting with his surprise win definitely shook up the whole atmosphere here in the championship battle. Absolutely no one had Tim Kourting picked to win the championship or even in their final 3. So that can say for itself just how big of an upset it was when Tim Kourting won last week, locking his way into the final 3. And here we got Chris Harvey up to 2nd now, showing some strength early on in this one. Fastest lap does belong to Atley Wiese, but I think you might want to keep your eye on Chris Harvey and see what kind of a run he can put together here. Deficit 1.2 seconds. So Chadwick needs for Trevor Walker to get past multiple times over to grow his points tally between the two of them. Our ULTRA6 for this season is definitely beyond stacked. It's going to be hard to cut these guys in half no matter which way you cut it. And I think that goes to show you just how good of a season we've had here in the USA Trucks, that we've got 6 drivers that are just complete bombshells out there week in, week out. What's going to be fascinating is seeing how this all plays out once we split them into an East and West championship. You're going to have basically different rivalries come about, since some drivers won't get to race with the other. You'll be dedicated to the East Coast or the West Coast, hitting the tracks that are tied to that region. And I'm pretty sure that some of the rivalries we've seen recently between the Kourtings and the Walkers, not finalized on the roster yet, but there could be the Kourtings on the East Coast and Walkers on the West Coast, and none of them, there might be almost no opportunity for them to match up head to head. Tim Kourting's closed back in on the bumper of Chris Harvey here, as Atley Wiese is cruising away to a sturdy lead. We've only seen one caution so far. This time around, it's lap 28 of 150. Also, let's take just a moment to go over the statistics from this season so far. With one of the hottest seasons that I've seen in a long time, Atley Wiese has secured 6 wins in 20 races, which is almost short of half the races he's entered. He has won them. It's not quite, it's about maybe 3/10. 3/10 of the races he's entered, he has found victory lane, which is, that's 30% right there. That's 30% of the races contested. He has found his way to victory lane in 2023. So that alone in itself is championship caliber kind of season. And in the meantime, he's out front leading this one. So, he could make it four out of 8 out of 21, which 8's really not dividable into 21. It's about 1/3 of the races he's contested this season, nonetheless. Going through that list, the only other drivers close was Jordan Walker at 3 wins, Trevor Walker at 2, Bradley Ream at 2. Everyone else with one apiece for the most part. Mopar Motorsports has fielded 4 drivers this season with Atley Wiese at the helm, and his teammate, the 34A of Avery Farrell. Evidently there were 2 more Mopar Motorsports entries that I do not remember currently. If you compared team wins, Trevor Ventures had 5 wins between their 5 drivers. Mopar Motorsports had 6. Well, all 6 of those belong to Atley Wiese, while Trevor Ventures split their 5 wins amongst 3 drivers. Correction, 2 drivers between Jordan Walker and Trevor Walker, the 2 of them. And up to this point, obviously Tim Kourting had not seen victory lane until last week. So there's been a big dry spell there. He officially got the 2nd win for Ford this season. The only other Ford win was his brother Tom Kourting. So all the numbers tell the bigger story here. It's been a Dodge kind of season, been dominated by Dodge power plants out there. Chevy still has a big goose egg in the win column, but once we split it up into east-west, I think that might change. We've got some new new blood coming to the Chevy camp. Brian DeBlank's going to change his campaign up to be a Chevy team. And a few other teams are committing to Chevy, but at the same time, a few teams will be committing to Honda and Subaru for the first inaugural season of those manufacturers in the series. So a lot of exciting changes coming across the horizon here in the USA Trucks. Putting on a bit of a stinker at the front of the field. Atley, Wiese just dominating right now. Going through the rest of the field, we still have all 42 trucks still out there contesting laps on track. Feel good story definitely has to belong here to Brian DeBlank, although his truck championship has been undesirable, I guess would be a good way to put it. He has officially locked his way in to the final the final four in the Sylvania Busch Light Series. So he's in the Busch Series fighting for a championship, and it's already been confirmed that he will be moving up into Arrow McLaren Chevy in the Sylvania Cup Series. So kind of a fast track up to the Cup Series for him, having had a lot of struggles here in the trucks, but success struck him rich in the Busch Series and reap the benefits he will moving up into Cup. Crazy, all of our title contenders are in the top 8, as we've got Trevor Walker in 8th, Tom Kourting in 7th, Chaz Chadwick in 6th, Jordan Walker in 5th, 3rd Tim Kourting, and Atley Wiese with that lead. Kyler Sestre definitely big surprise factor joining the series as late as he has. Looking good and putting together some good runs in that number 24 Dodge Ram. In the meantime, we're getting close to 1/3 of the way through this race. It's going a lot quicker and much quicker than expected. We're only a half an hour through this one so far, and kind of on pace for an hour and a half length race. Tim Kourting making a move here on Chris Harvey. Looks like he might have to settle back into 3rd. As the fight continues though, Tim Kourting not wanting to give up that easily. Chris Harvey on the outside, stretches it out and settles right back in front of that 50 truck. But in the meantime, Atley Wiese way out there in front, driving away from the rest of the field. Tim Kourting needs to find a way around Chris Harvey pronto here. The sooner he can get by that 2, the quicker he can try to start reeling in Atley Wiese at the front. Side by side going into turns 3 and turn 4. These two giving it all they got. Ooh, and almost makes contact there in the middle of turn 3 and 4. It's a drag race down to the start-finish line as Tim Kourting still struggling to make the move. Great racing here for second place. And now lap traffic becoming a factor here for Atley. Atley having to make the most of the situation and avoid losing too much momentum here. But Tim Kourting going to get by Chris Harvey here the right time, as he's going to need to start closing in on the lead. An Atley Wiese win today would definitely quell that alternate playoff format that we were mentioning, whereas the Walker brothers versus the Kourting brothers. Atley wins it today. That will nullify that alternative outcome, and we will only be looking to have the Omega 3 championship final. And tomorrow, or at least in the next race, will be the Charlotte Roval. And that's going to be interesting to see if Chadwick could maybe possibly have a good run there. Oh, Al Bunch out of gas perhaps. Looks like the 08 stalled on the backstretch. And that might bring out a caution. I don't know. Staying green so far, but let's go and double check to see exactly what changed here for Al Bunch. Going into turn 1. Sounds like he just lost power in the 08 truck. Oh, a tire failure. Damage to the tire. Tim Kourting and Chris Harvey are having a little bit harder time getting through the lap traffic that Atley Wiese already blew through. As you can see, there's 5 trucks there separating, plus another 2, so 7 trucks in total that Atley Wiese is blown by with ease. That separates him from second place Tim Kourting and third place Chris Harvey. Atley is cruising through the field, setting 28 trucks left on the lead lap so far until he gets by the 14 truck here. That'll put 27 trucks left on the lead lap. I had stepped away for a moment, and evidently we had a caution there. So around lap 60, we must have had that caution come out. We'll figure out what brought the caution. Still green. There's the yellow. And I see nothing out of the ordinary. So we must have had a debris caution that came out to bring this caution. Oh wait, the 27 ended up, must have run out of gas or stalled it or something, but that is where the caution came out right there. Stalled truck right in the middle of the racing surface. And a mechanical failure. A camshaft puts the 27 out of the race here on lap 60. In the meantime, Atley Wiese has lapped everyone down to 26th, so we have 25 trucks left on the lead lap. And so now we got to switch the lead as Tim Kourting takes the lead back away from Atley Wiese. Now up to third, it's Chaz Chadwick, and it's a three-dog fight for the win here. We are officially down to 50 laps to go here at Lakewood Speedway. And Tim Kourting has been out front since this restart, leading over Atley Wiese. Third place still belongs to Chadwick at the moment. Fourth place, Chris Harvey. Fifth place, Trevor Walker. Oh, wow. Tom Kourting must have got some damage somewhere along the way and has dropped all the way back to 15th. This is not good news for Tom Kourting. The worst of our championship contenders so far, fallen all the way back to 15th. Our top two drivers definitely driving away from the rest of the field, as you can see. We are officially down to 30 laps to go here, and Tim Kourting still... Actually, it's no longer Tim Kourting leading the way, but rather Trevor Walker on what might be green flag pit stops, I imagine. Yes, green flag pit stops. So Tim Kourting relinquishes his lead for the moment as Trevor Walker is staying out, leading now. Already with 20 laps to go, we're under caution yet again here. And Trevor Walker holding the lead so far. This would be a huge upset. Back-to-back weeks of upsets possibly on the horizon here, as this could potentially lock two of our biggest drivers out of the championship 3 if they aren't careful here. And it looks like, oh, the 80 of Richard Townsend gets spun here. On lap 126, running in 16th place, 1 lap down. Gets spun by Gavin Legend into the wall, bringing out a caution and a restart here with just around 30 laps to go. One more restart. This may be what Atley Wiese needs to get back in the mix here. Chadwick there behind. You got a whole bunch of contenders here for the win here today. Atley on that preferred outside line here. Going to get the lead away from Trevor Walker. Chadwick up to second. Tim Kourting in fourth. Chadwick's doing what he needs to do, maximizing the points earned here today against Jordan Walker in the 10 truck. Down to 17 laps to go here at the 1 mile dirt track. Still, no one has taken a swim here at the racetrack. We've been able to keep them all on course. Andre Stefan with a potential top 5 finish where he's running right now. Fighting alongside Tim Kourting for the position. Looks like he's probably going to get up to 4th, maybe. Settles back into 5th for now. This could be a big deal for Atley Wiese and a pretty big deal for Chadwick if he can maintain a big enough gap from himself to the 10 of Jordan Walker. Next week could be him in the final 3. We'll find out tomorrow. Honestly, the perfect scenario here would be for Chaz to just take the win if he can get it. It'll put Atley Wiese on the bubble right there in 3rd, which he'll more than likely be safe with the amount of points that he has racked up. Chadwick would lock his way in, and then we would be looking at potentially Tim Kourting, Atley Wiese, and Chadwick as our final 3. I just don't think you want to push it to another week if you don't have to. If Chadwick can make the move and get to the lead here, win the race, that would basically make it so that the ball is in Atley's court, where Atley will have to have a good race at the Roval to avoid elimination. 12 laps to go this time by, and Atley still maintaining a lead over Chadwick. Not by much, but still a recognizable lead by at least a second there. Lap traffic's going to play a factor here for Atley. Still maintaining to hold the lead pretty steady there as he's growing the gap from him to Chadwick. Only 9 laps to go now. Chadwick needs to make something happen or push his luck going towards the Charlotte Roval. Managing to put some points up on his competition in this championship battle. Jordan Walker sitting in 9th right now. And also the other competitor, the 90 of Tom Kourting, running in 12th. Unfortunately for Chadwick, it does not look like he's closing the gap. Quite the contrary, Atley Wiese is largening that gap to the 18 truck. And so it's just a matter of time before this race runs out of laps and Chadwick won't have anything to do about it. Lost some more time there as we only have 7 laps to go. Either we've got a caution. Oh, yes, we do. So we've got one more restart. This could be a crazy final restart of the race. We'll have one green-white checkered attempt here, and Chadwick will be on the outside. It looks like the caution came out due to a few trucks spinning in the front stretch here. The 38 of Monty Shangle makes contact with the 17 of Jack Davis. Those two trucks spin out, collecting the 74 of Leighton Avyard and ultimately a pile-up amongst a few of the others. The 74 And the 22 had nowhere to go. Couldn't get woed up in time. Clobbering the back of that one truck. The 64 and the 14 as well. Gets some clobbering damage here. Yeah, so this will come down to one final restart. And there is no telling how this is going to play out now. We were thinking that Atley Wiese was going to kind of cruise away with the win here today. Chadwick in a little bit more dire situation as he more likely needs this win worse than Atley does to lock his way into the final three. Tim Kourting in third there already with a win in this round of the playoffs, locked into the final three regardless of what happens here today. Trevor Walker a little bit further back would like to try and fight for it himself too to lock his way through. So whatever you thought was going to happen, throw it all out the window. We're going to have one final restart here, and I'm willing to wager that Chadwick is going to be all that much hungrier for the win here today at the 1 mile dirt track. Atley is proven to be dominant, though. We might see dominant closeout from Atley Wiese, or we might be seeing a surprise victory from Chadwick. Once they get the green flag, it would be about 2 laps to go as we are on lap 146 of 50. They're going to get the lights off on the pace truck on lap 147 of 50. And then the green flag will wave on 148 of 50. The excitement, the anticipation is palpable here as Atley, who probably has had the best truck here today so far, even with the fastest lap turned within the 147 laps contested, it's going to come down to a crapshoot on whether or not Atley can hold off Chadwick on that outside line. And you know very well this is all for all the marbles making it to the final three. You're going to want to push it that much harder to get the win here. Heck, even Trevor Walker starting on that outside row right behind Chadwick. This is going to be an interesting restart for sure. We'll have to see if Atley can protect the lead and maintain it here, as Chadwick is going to be a tough adversary for the win. With only 2 laps to go, green flag waves. Chadwick with a bit of a jump there on the outside. Looks like he's going to make it into turn 1 with the lead. Atley is going to have to settle into second here. And he's going to have to get to work, as there's only going to be another lap or 2 left to duke it out. He's going to have to find his way around the 18 truck. Tim Kourting up to third now. Atley's got his work cut out for him. Green still out on track, so no caution. This would be somewhat of an upset, but also would give us a top tier driver in Chadwick to make it to the final 3 here with a win and you're in scenario on the line. The white flag waves this time by. Atley's going to have one opportunity to make it count. Tim Kourting on his back bumper as well. Chadwick goes high there. Atley goes high. Coming down the back straight. Atley's going to have only 2 more turns left to make the move. And make the move he is not. As it looks like Chadwick is going to be winning the race here today at Lakewood. The 18 truck of Chadwick wins to secure his way into the final 3 alongside him and Tim Kourting. Right now, the way that Atley has run, he should be our 3rd driver in line due to points. But it's going to be tough road ahead for the 19 truck as he's going to have to dot all his I's, cross all his T's, and make sure there's no mistakes made at the Charlotte Roval. So congratulations to Chadwick on securing his 2nd win of the season in a very opportune time to knock his pay stub into the final 3. And we'll have the Charlotte Roval up next in the series tomorrow. You won't want to miss that one, as it's going to be do or die for some of these drivers making it into the final 3. So thanks again, everyone, for tuning in. Glad you could be a part of it. And hopefully we can catch you on the next one. Have a good night, everyone.